Good morning. Hope you're doing great today. We're going to get right into Genesis chapter 22. We're talking about Abraham laying down his son Isaac on the altar. A little background on this is Abraham and Sarah could not have children for years. They are well into their 90s. God has been promising them all along that they're going to have a bazillion, children that are going to inhabit the entire world, and his descendants are going to, be as many as the stars or the sand on the shore or whatever. So they've been hearing this for years, and they move their family and they do all this, and they're waiting on God's promise, and God has been blessing them along the way. He's got a great amount of wealth, but he has no children, has no descendants like he's been expecting. But finally, well into their 90s, they're blessed with the son Isaac, and they are so excited for Isaac. And so here we have later on in the story, they're raising their son Isaac, and they're doing well. And then God asks him to do something really, really difficult. Now, there we go. Okay, this is sometime later. Sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied, here I am. Take your son, your only son. Yes, Isaac. He's like, yeah, that one. Who you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will show you. I can't imagine how difficult this is and what he's asking, and what even Abraham even thought, like, you have promised me, and now this is what you're asking? You're insane. No, we're not doing that. But he does. So they go on a hike. They don't bring any other sacrifice. He just takes his son and the things he needs for the fire and a knife. And right when he's about to slay his son, God says, don't. Okay, don't lay a hand on the boy, the angel said. Don't hurt him in any way. For now I know that you truly fear God. You have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Skip me down to 16. He says this, because you have obeyed me and not withheld even your son, your only son, I swear by my own name, I will certainly bless you. And he talks about how he's going to have a ton of descendants and all that as well there. So I like this. He says, you have not withheld from me even your son, your only son that you love so much. So what is the toughest test that you have faced so far? I think back to tests from my life. I don't take too many like written exams anymore. I'm kind of not doing that stuff right now. I think back to college, and there was lots of tough ones. The ACT was really tough, just getting into college. But yeah, there's some of those theology tests back when I was in school, and they just kicked my rear. They were tough. Now I face different kinds of tests that are more mental, more of testing my grit. So that there's different tests that I face now, and that's probably what this relates to for us. But what is the toughest test that you've been faced? Is it a health issue? Is it God asking you to be obedient? Is he asking you to give up something that you love so much? Now, he's not going to ask you to lay down your son on an altar and make him a burnt offering. That's not going to happen. That was a unique test for Abraham. But he may ask you to lay them on an altar, though, of surrender. Like, I trust you with my son. I trust you with my daughter. I'm going to lay them down and surrender them to your will. And that is tough to do sometimes because you want the best for them. You want to control everything. And God is calling them to do some things, and you're having trouble letting go. There's a million different ways we can go with this, but God tests us. And so let's go this direction with it. What are you withholding from God? That's a test. He is asking you to put something really important and lay that on the altar. What is it? What is it he's asking you to do now? And what has he asked you to do in the past, and you've ignored it? and you can't let it go. God has asked me a few times in my life to lay down things that I had built around myself to keep myself safe, secure, comfortable. And when I've laid those things down, God has blessed me more than I can ever imagine. I want that for you. I want you to lay down those things that you are clinging to keep you safe and comfortable, and they just make you feel better inside. Lay those things down so you can step into something greater, something better, something bigger. If you may be thinking of it right now, it's like, God has been telling me to do this and I've been holding back. Don't hold back. Let it go and move on. Let's pray. Lord, bless these folks. Whoever listening today that you are challenging, you are testing, and you are telling them to lay something down on the altar. Lord, I pray that you give them the strength to lay that down and to make a change in their life. And Lord, I pray that you would bring them into more. You would bring them into something greater because of that sacrifice. Help them lay it down. Help them slaughter it. And Lord, I pray that you take whatever's left and you make something amazing out of it. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow.